This is Shaun. He loves horror movies, but has never seen Suspiria. So I made him watch it. Just to let y'all know, Suspiria is one of my favorite horror movies of all time, and it absolutely floored me when I found out Shaun had never watched this film. So, Shaun, what did you think?
Oh my goodness. Okay, so a lot of times these old, like these 70s, we talk about this a lot, like there's this old grainy misery to 70s, early 80s horror movies, like stuff before 85.
It's really grungy and kind of hard to get into.
Yeah, and I think that's what makes them so scary for us as kids, especially the darkness is dark.
Yeah, it is. It's very, very dark and very kind of grimy in it,
Yeah,
too.
I think that's why Halloween is such an amazing movie, and why, you know, even Wes Craven old movies are like really gross
they're
to watch.
super like I don't even know how to explain it. It's just grimy.
Yeah. And so this is my first old Italian horror I've ever seen that I'm aware of.
Well, you haven't seen much Italian horror, have you?
No, not at
Okay.
all. I haven't seen, this is Argento?
Yes, it's Dario Argento.
Okay. But yeah, so I started watching it, and immediately I knew of the glass pane break.
Yeah, of course. The opening.
Yeah, I think I'd seen that on 100 Scariest Movie Moments. And whenever it starts, the first thing that I notice is like how beautiful everybody is.
Yep.
It's there's some kind of crazy elegance to 70s and like 60s beauties, and they're just so perfect looking, and you don't want anything bad to happen to them at all. And
Thankfully, nothing does.
nothing bad happens.
No.
It's a very strange, it's like a nightmare immediately, right? We got the rain and the taxi, and then she sees you get this lady running through the woods, and honestly, at first, it was like I couldn't really tell between who we see our first lady, and she goes into the school, and I get confused when Susie shows up, so I'm like, oh, did she survive? I'm like, is this the same person? And just because it's old and muddy, and it's like, okay, no, Susie's new to town. She's coming into the school, and this soundtrack is the best part.
Done by Goblin.
Yes, even more so than the blues and reds that they constantly use. I thought the soundtrack, I was like, this is going to get annoying. And then it's not.
No, it's not at all. Goblin is very talented.
Okay.
So Argento uses Goblin a lot.
Do they have like some kind of special relationship?
I don't remember exactly. I should do more research on that. I just know if Argento's movie is on, that you usually have a Goblin soundtrack. I do believe, if I
like
remember
James
correctly,
Cameron and Brad Fiedel.
Yeah, if I do remember correctly, they also did the soundtrack to Dawn of the Dead in Italy. So the Italian version of Dawn of the Dead, which is Zombie, it has Goblin doing the soundtrack, if I remember correctly.
Gotcha. Okay.
So I'll look them up.
Well, like even from the lyrics are like which.
Yep, I love it.
And it's cool, man. I think we get this horrible misery feeling, but then the colors of the blue and the reds that are constantly hitting, I could just see them, the gaffer guy, just like being like, okay, Dario, what do you want? And he's like, blue and red. Have you not been here the whole time?
Yeah, blue and red. Why is that? Because people will remember this. And guess what? We do.
Yeah. The school, I love how the school is a character. It's a lot like Kubrick's set dressing for the hotel in The Shining.
For sure.
A lot of geo patterns and these bold kind of salmon pink red colors on the walls. And it's just the school itself is a character. And as we get to learn these side characters, I think Sarah is kind of like a Sarah is kind of
her friend.
Yeah, her friend, and Sarah's kind of like onto it a little bit.
Yeah. She's very suspicious.
Yes, Suspiria.
There you go.
And we have the headmaster of the entire place. She is such a bitch. And she's, they did a really good job of getting somebody who's old beautiful.
Yep.
And it was like, okay, she knows something's going on. But from the first scene of like the glass crashing, it really does hit the way that the countdowns of terrible kills and stuff hit.
So when I first saw this, I was 10 years old. And I had watched it on, it was either Showtime or it was Cinemax. It was their 10 o'clock like horror movie that they showed in October. And I remember whenever that death happens, you know, the stabbing multiple times, stabs her in the heart, then she falls through the panel and hung.
Yeah, it's not just the glass. There's a pursuit on the roof.
Yeah, it's gnarly.
Yeah.
Like the whole situation. And this is my first dabble in Italian horror, so I have no idea what's going on. It feels like what you said, a nightmare, which is what a lot of Italian horror feels like. And it scared the hell out of me.
It's a very contemporary chase scene, and the way that the kill is done is like, I was like, this really didn't hold back.
No, it didn't. And that's where I was going with this. Is it still unnerving for you as a 36-year-old to watch it as it was for me as a 10-year-old?
No, I don't think so. I think it was more like, man, I really appreciate how aggressively violent this is for the time. I think it was more like a hindsight thing. I wasn't like, oh my God, or like really disturbed. I was more like, oh man, that's awesome for the time. And whenever it ends and she gets penetrated in the neck, I think.
She gets stabbed a lot.
Yeah. But there's a particular wound that's really, they zoom in on and they show the gash. And they have that blood that's like so red, right? It's like almost a pinkish red. It's the kind of wound that like, it's like a Kill Bill kind of blood.
It is,
right?
and that's a pattern in some of Argento's movies, because there's another scene that's very similar to that in Deep Red that involves like a really bright colored blood.
Yeah, I imagine it's like horrible for children.
Yeah.
Right? Because as a kid, that's what you picture blood as.
Yeah.
But as an adult, it was more just like appreciative when I was watching it. I think the real, and while the kills are great, and I don't want to gloss over how violent and disturbing it is, I think the atmosphere of the school and the subtle hints at what's happening.
Yeah.
I think whenever she starts, it's like the tension of her interacting with the other students and what's afoot here is made it feel like I was watching a current movie.
Yeah, it does for sure. It feels like an A24 film.
Yes, exactly. Yep. And it's like, in particular, there's a scene where she's dancing and she's really lightheaded and she's starting to become under some duress, and the teacher's like really hardcore on her, right? And I was like, this plays a lot like a contemporary movie. It doesn't feel old when I was watching it. And they kind of put her in her own room, and it's like, okay, that doctor.
There's a lot of stuff going wrong here.
Yeah,
real quick.
It's like that doctor's not looking out for her.
Yep.
Headmistress, like, she's kind of okay with her being crazy.
Yep.
And I think that's where Suspiria is like, it played really, really well. I will say that I saw the remake before this one.
Yeah, right? And the remake, for what it's worth, I think the remake is okay.
Yeah.
I love the original, but I appreciate what they do in the remake. The ending of the remake is amazing.
Yes, and I think that's where
it's just a little too long for me.
Yeah.
That's my main problem. It's just too long.
Yeah, and I think with the ending of the remake, I was expecting this one to not be very good.
Yeah.
I was like, I don't know how the idea of what this undead super witch is gonna be like, but this crazy, the whole thing starts to collapse, and she finds like the secret room, and there's an invisible person behind the sheet, and it reminded me a lot of like the Golden Child, or like
no, I can
old
see
Conan
that,
movies.
Yeah, I completely see that. Yeah,
and it was like, man, there's a big baddie here.
It is a haunted house movie at the very end.
Yeah,
because everything is going on. You have all the people that have chased her. Then she opens up the closet doors, and her friend who had just died comes out with the like cut mark on her neck from the barbed wire pit that she fell in.
Yeah.
It is, and At that point in time, whenever I'm watching it as a 10-year-old, I'm watching like this.
Okay,
Terrified.
Yeah. It was like Exorcist for me.
It was too much for me to understand because I'd never seen anything like this before.
And I think that's where, when you're watching childhood movies, the scariest ones are the ones where there was no toe dip in the water for what the genre was.
You're just in.
Yeah, I think that's why Exorcist scared me so much. That's probably why The Ring scared me so much.
Yeah.
Even though I was a teenager, I had no idea like what Japanese horror was like.
For sure.
And it was just so new that it like shocked me. So I could totally see the Italian angle and the extremism here like really shocking you, especially as somebody who had seen Halloween at that point.
Yeah, at that point in time, I was already deep into watching the Halloween films and the Friday the 13th movies. But those are in a completely different ballpark than Suspiria.
A slasher with like an artistic twist and big brains like this.
It wasn't something that I had on my radar at that time. Did they exist? Yeah, of course they did. But for 10-year-old Greyson, I didn't know that horror could be like that.
Yeah, and so with that, you know, Sarah comes out and she's all messed up, and it is like a haunted house. It's just like the worst part. Like everywhere she turns, it's like the building is crumbling. There's dead people. And then you get this reveal. She stabs like the specter that she knows is there.
Yeah, with that peacock. It's like I think it's like a peacock statue, but the quills on the end, their feathers are like needles, basically.
Yeah, and she like hits what she knows is there, and it's just like, that's one nasty mother.
Yeah, it is a few seconds that you see it, but that's all you need.
Yeah, I think it's like it's just like the Eyes in the Darkness.
Yes, 100%.
And it's design-wise, like it is cheesy, but when you stare at it, right? But in the context of the film, it was like, oh God.
Yeah.
And I thought it was great. When I was watching it, I was really watching it with a, this is old. What can I pick out of it that stands out? And I think that the school is a character. The lighting, obviously, right? It's one of the prettiest films ever. At the same time, though, if you watch it in hindsight, and as somebody who's like been on production sets and produced stuff, it's just like, I can see exactly where every LED strip is. Like Argento's like.
Yeah, but you got to give it to like the lighting crew on that movie. They knock it out of the park.
And it definitely doesn't look like any other movie from its time.
It feels kind of weird because you almost get sad anytime they're outside because you don't have it's so stupid to say this, but you don't have the beautiful lighting that you do from the inside whenever they're outside.
Those exteriors, like when he's walking the dog and it's daytime, and she's talking to my man from Blade in the courtyard.
Udo Kier?
Yeah.
I'm horrible at mispronouncing his last name. It's Udo Kier or something like that. Let me see. He might not be listed on here.
Whatever, he's beautiful. But yeah, it is like, oh man, I really wish we were in a poorly lit school for dancers again.
Yeah, for sure. And he's not in the film for long anyway.
Yeah.
So.
And I love like the costume design's awesome, and like seeing them in their leotards and stuff is just like it's fun. It's a good movie. I think if I was younger and if I was not pretentious, but if I was hungry to state that I was an elevated horror fan, like in the 90s, I would have been like, yeah, I love Suspiria.
Yeah, it's a great movie. And I feel like with the rise of A24 and how everybody looks at them now in horror, I think that this is the perfect time for more people to watch Suspiria because I think people would appreciate it now.
Yeah, I think it's that same kind of it's the same kind of talk to me.
Yeah, it is. It's the same vibe. It's mean.
Even like The Witch, it's just like in the fact that it's gonna let you figure out what's happening
for
here,
sure,
instead of just dragging you. Besides the fact that the score says witch a lot.
So I do want to pull this back to two kills in particular that I wanted to talk to you about before we wrap this. So I want to talk to you about the blind piano player's death and Sarah's death.
Yeah.
So did you know anything about the blind piano player's death?
No.
Okay.
No.
So whenever you watch that, how did that all play out for you? Was it a, oh my God, I can't believe that just happened? Or was it a, oh, like, was it shocking to you?
I mean, it was like, it was good that it wasn't just a bunch of knife kills.
Yep.
Right? I was, especially being taking place in the 70s, I was like, okay, well, that roof set piece was really sick. They don't really follow, they can't match that again, right? Because that's a big moment. But the dog as a horror tool is pretty good.
Yeah, it was interesting for me to see them being able to possess the dog long enough to kill the owner, and then see, you can almost, it's weird, you can almost see the dog realize what it had done and then left, like run away.
I can see that. Yeah, because naturally the dog is like called off.
Yeah.
Right? And so it is, the dog's like, ah!
Yeah. And the dog, because it's what's it, special needs dog? What's it called?
Oh God. Oh, I can't think.
I can't believe I forgot what it's called. Service dog.
Service dog.
Service dog.
Yeah.
Yeah, but it is the service dog, so the dog, of course, loves them and wants to protect them.
Yeah, it is.
So
that does make it scarier.
It
right?
does.
It's the most loyal of animals.
It's one of the harder for me to watch because it's his only hope. Like that's all he has.
I guess I'm kind of weird like that. Like pet horror doesn't mess me up too bad, and like I only feel bad if like it's like an old movie where I see a dog get pushed over.
Yeah, it is like in Cujo.
Yeah, like in Cujo.
So,
but yeah, that kill was good, and it was more violent than I thought. I thought we were just gonna get like a cutaway and some growling noises.
You see the tear.
Yeah, to actually see the tear is like very effective.
So the next one I want to go to is Sarah. Now I know you had seen some stuff over Sarah.
I had seen it.
Watching the whole thing play out, how did it go for you?
It was a bit of a letdown.
Really?
Because you had voiced how much it scared you, right?
Oh, I love that.
Yeah. And so like it is that kind of, oh, woe is me, something's chasing me.
Yeah,
the door won't open. I can't get in.
But that adds to it, in my opinion.
And I think definitely gives it a nightmarish quality. But to me, I'm listening to it and I'm watching it thinking, Greyson was horrified at this part. And then it finally, she's like, there's barbed wire down there.
No, she doesn't know that's supposed to be the thing. Like, she should. In all actuality, where she gets onto the ledge and she can see it, you should see it.
I know. And I do understand that in the context, it's like, it's dark in there.
Yeah.
But we can kind of see it.
And it doesn't make it any better that we have up-resed movies now so we can see everything.
Exactly. So it was terrifying. I didn't want to watch it.
Yeah.
Like, I was like, oh God, stop writhing around.
Because I think she's already been cut or stabbed.
I think she'd already been stabbed. Yeah.
Once. And then to get to the point to where she's locked in her room, she's able to stack boxes up. She gets up to the window, and kid me is thinking, okay, she's going to get away. She's going to be able to alert somebody because the movie's wrapping up. Like, there's not much time.
Home stretch.
And then to fall into a pit of barbed wire, like Saw ain't out yet.
Yeah, I know.
There's nothing to prepare me for that.
There really isn't at that time it's not like Jamie Lee Curtis was like, oh, I have to jump in this spike pit to get away.
Yeah.
I think that is probably what scared you the most as a kid. Again, that unfamiliarity of like rocking a hard place.
Just mean.
Yeah.
It's just mean again.
I have to hurt myself to escape.
Yeah.
And that's really unfamiliar to kids. Still effective, but I think that just that 70s.
Yeah, looking at it at a 36-year-old, the opening is way more hardcore.
I did have a note because there was a language used here. There was a language here that was awesome. Early on, before the window happens, I believe she says the horror is fantastic. It's one of the lines, and I don't know if it's a mistranslation or not. But she says to her friend that she's so scared, and she goes, "The terror is fantastic." And it's overdubbed, right?
Did Sarah say it or did Susie say
I think the girl with the black hair says it.
Okay.
I think it might be the girl that gets impaled.
Olga?
She might be the one that gets impaled through the throat. Sorry, I just spit all over.
I think that might be Olga.
Yeah, but she says the horror is fantastic. And I made a note because I think that's my close here is that on top of everything, I would think that the dub would make me not like it, right? I would think that the dub would make it a lesser experience. But to the overacted ADR of like, oh my God, and just like these small lips, it's like it makes it even more dreamlike.
It does.
So,
and that's something that you'll be introduced to more whenever I show you more Italian horror. Is sometimes you won't know if it is dubbed, and then sometimes it is just obvious that this is just a bad dub.
Yeah, I thought the dub was wonderful, and I thought that her saying the horror is fantastic because you've never heard. I haven't. If you have, I haven't heard it often of somebody saying something that brings you not joy of being fantastic. Is like it honestly makes it even scarier.
Yeah, it does.
But thank you for showing me Suspiria.
I'm glad you like. What do you rate it as?
I would give Suspiria, and this is a now thing.
Yeah, you're 36.
Yeah, I would give Suspiria a 7.5. I will watch it again, but I won't watch it often.
I get that.
But I would like to watch it and enjoy the atmosphere and look at the architecture
for sure
and all that.
For sure.
But yeah, I also had a note. My first note says, "Welcome to Germany." That's what my
nice. First note is that he has two notes. Welcome to Germany, and the terror is fantastic.
Welcome to Germany, baby. I think I wrote that when the taxi cab driver said, "Welcome to Germany."
Nice. Nice.
But if you enjoyed this, make sure and go watch our last episode, which is it would be me watching The Descent.
Yep.
For the first time. We talk about cave dwelling and terrible ladies turning on evil demons because I've never seen it before.
Another movie I was shocked he hadn't seen.
Yeah. Next up, we have more coming just like this. Greyson's got an Argentinian masterpiece he's going to check out, so stay tuned to more Carnage Candy and go to patreon.com/hangtime to support content just like this and have a great day.
Goodbye.
Why am I doing that with my hand?
I don't know.
Repulsor beam.
Are you Iron Man?
Yeah.